How do you help prevent yourself from becoming a victim? Or what common sense tactics are important in maintaining our personal safety? What do we do when we find ourselves in a life-threatening situation, and what we do at that time can save us from an attack? Here to offer some helpful advice is Jerry Willever, an educator who's a certified rape prevention instructor with the American Women's Self-Defense Association, and she also happens to have a third-degree black belt. Welcome.
Thank you.
Talk about don't judge a book by its cover. You just look so well-meaning. I think I would ask you for a chocolate chip cookie recipe.
You probably would not get one.
Oh, hey, you wouldn't get one from me either, so that's okay. Self-defense,
yes.
What we need to know, what we need to think about. I know
Yes.
you've published 2 books.
Yes, I have.
Safe and Secure Seniors, and also Safe from Strangers, which was
Yes.
targeted for children.
Yes, that's correct. That was my original book.
Really?
That's where I started the all the programs that I have.
Now, Jerry,
today.
I have to touch on a little bit of the interesting background from
Yes.
you, because
Okay.
you were formerly an English teacher, elementary or reading teacher,
Reading teacher. I taught
Elementary
children
schools.
reading. Yes.
and you got your first black belt in karate at what age, if I might ask?
Oh, I don't mind telling you, I was 56 at the time when I got my first degree black belt.
That's amazing, and now
Yes.
you are a third-degree black
Now
belt.
I'm a third degree black belt. Now I'm also co-owner of the same karate school. And that's been fun. Yes.
You have found a second calling.
Yes. Yes.
But more importantly, you're instructing people on how they can keep themselves safe and secure, and how they can prevent really a physical confrontation from ever happening, whether that's rape or a mugging or so on and
or
so forth.
kidnapping, whatever. Yes.
So let's talk about
Personal
that a little bit.
safety. Sure.
What are some basic things that women can do to protect themselves?
All right, I'm going to talk about women, but many times this applies to everyone. Throughout my Safe from Strangers program on up through the high school girls and the senior citizens. One of the things people need to be aware of is developing their awareness. All right, and by that I mean not just what's in my surroundings, but also to understand that feeling that we all have inside.
That
all right?
gut instinct,
That little
intuition.
instinct, that intuition, whether you want to call it that, your guardian angel, that little voice, whatever, we all have it. It's there and it's guiding us, and we need to look into that. Children seem to be more alert to that, but as we age, as we go through life, and life
Become
becomes
more jaded,
complex,
and it's busy around us.
busy around us, we're not paying attention, we want to second guess, nothing's really going to happen to me. You need to listen to that. That's one of the basic things you need to understand.
I know another thing is to be visually aware of your surroundings.
Be visually aware of your surroundings. As you're coming out of a store, I always tell everybody, remember where you parked the car. All right. As soon as you park the car, look around, especially if you were in a large shopping mall. Where am I? So that you're not, especially with
not wandering around,
looking forever. In the second book that I wrote, the senior book, I had many people give me incidents of things that actually happened to them. And one of them was my friend. Even though it says a senior book, she was not senior at the time. She was walking down and in a parking lot, and it was Christmas time. Packages here, purse here. The car comes by, tries to pull the purse. Well, she fought them off, and eventually, the guy left.
And she was
they
able
left,
to...
and she was okay, which I don't always recommend because she could have been dragged or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you need to be aware of those things, especially when you're very busy.
Now, I know you've got some verbal message responses, and
Yes.
you just said, I don't know that I'd recommend that because you could be dragged. There's a lot
Sure.
of situations where if you are faced with a physical confrontation or a threat,
Mm-hmm.
the first response should often be verbal.
Yes.
And sometimes that can help you avoid any type of physical confrontation to follow.
You're absolutely right. There are different levels of self-defense. When people think of self-defense, they immediately think I'm going to teach them how to kick and punch and do all kinds of fancy grabs and maneuvers, and that may be part of this.
All of which you can do, which is amazing.
That's
but
fun.
yes.
I like to go after the big guys in the fights. But there's things you can do first, which, as we said, was the awareness and the verbal. You need to be able to speak in a positive, assertive manner. All right?
Okay, give me an example. Let's
Well,
say.
I happen to have here
Okay.
some little cards that I use in my programs for my high school girls
Okay.
and for adults. And the thing that you need to be tuned to is you want to be assertive, not aggressive. There's a difference between being verbally assertive, verbally aggressive.
So what's the difference?
When you're aggressive, you're like really angry, you're tense, your hands are maybe clenched, and your voice is real shrill, and you're actually being telling them, who do you think you are, and making them very confrontational. Assertive, you're calm, even though you may be nervous inside. You want to appear calm. Your voice comes not from up here shouting, screaming, but from down here. You're looking directly into them, and you're saying exactly, rather than putting the blame on them and making them be defensive, you want it to be more assertive. No.
Tell them what
look,
you want them to do.
I don't like you saying that to me, because it could be something in a work situation.
So give me an example here.
All right.
Get out of my way, okay? So what I don't want to be doing is saying, get out of my way.
Yes.
What do I want to be doing?
You want to say, get out of my way.
Get out of my way.
That's excellent. That's very good.
Okay.
Right,
Same thing with things like take your hands off me. You see that these types of,
Yeah.
they're demands.
They're demands.
They're
that's
demands.
right.
They're not
And
aggressive demands, but you are demanding.
You're telling them what you want.
What you want.
Okay.
So things like take your hands off me, go away.
Uh-huh.
I don't
no,
like that.
If you're in a date situation. No, I do this one with the girls.
Sure.
No means no. And be assertive. When I do this in the seminars that I do, it's difficult for the participants. Usually they know each other, so they're sitting
feel
there.
silly.
They feel silly. They start laughing, but after a while they get into it and they understand. One of them had a very good idea, one of the girls, the teenagers. Oh, we could take this home and look in a mirror. I said, good, because your facial expression has to be, not angry, but assertive.
Assertive.
Yes.
Now, you also work with people in using this in the workplace. Tell me about that.
Yes. When I'm doing the women's personal safety, it's not just going to be always like a rape or a kidnapping or something like that, although we do discuss that. It could start in the work situation where there may be someone harassing you, that may be...
and it can be just verbal.
It could be just verbal. It could be a woman also. It doesn't necessarily always means that the man is going to be harassing them, although the man's more into the sexual harassment. So you need to be assertive there. Many times women are afraid to say something, or they feel they can't. They're worried about other ramifications.
It's true. You're worried about being judged, or you're worried about it following through, or are you overreacting?
Yes.
Is oftentimes have you ever been in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, but you think to yourself, well, I don't want to overreact here?
Yes.
And what I like about the tips that you're giving us right now, this idea of the verbal response, is if you're not getting upset and you're not screaming and your hands aren't clenched and you're not, shaking, if you're just calm and you're assertive, then no matter what you do or what you say, it can't be misunderstood.
Right.
And it can't be misconstrued either. And I know one of your verbal responses is, don't touch me. It's inappropriate for an employer or colleague to touch an employee that way. It's a statement of fact.
Yes, exactly. I don't like what you're saying to me, and you're telling them what I don't like. I don't want you to do that. So that's the next level of defense, and that also comes in with the children, right? You want them to be aware of what's around them, where they are, but they have the right to say no. And you say that to the senior citizens. Seniors are afraid to say no because they grew up in the era when you had to respect everyone and so forth. So they're afraid to say no to someone that's trying to
So
con
exercise
them.
that ability to say
Yes.
no. I know we've only got a few seconds
Yes.
left, but I wanted to briefly just walk through a scenario perhaps where
Okay.
someone's been mugged.
Okay.
Or they're in the process of
They're-
being mugged.
right.
of being
All right.
mugged. So they've been approached by a stranger.
All right. You need to yell. No matter what you do, you need to yell. Draw attention to yourself before you do anything else. I teach them how to do a simple palm strike, because punching is difficult to learn. A simple kick in
So
the knee,
using your
but don't.
palms instead?
Yeah, simple kick in the knee, real hard. But then don't stand there and see what you've done. Get
Run.
out of there, right? Get out of the situation.
I remember taking a self-defense class when I was younger and telling my father, and he always said to me, he goes, no matter what you learn, remember, first you scream, second you run. He
That's
goes,
right.
because the idea is to get out of a
Get
dangerous
out of
situation.
the situation, correct. Yes, very good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
I appreciate it, and you are inspiring.
Thank you.